Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel. Thank you for watching this video, liking and subscribing. It is wonderful to be able to share these updates with you. This is a Taurus new moon video for May 4th, 2019. And this is the Taurus new moon video for Twin Flames. This is what I'm calling the Divine Feminine's new moon. It's the first new moon of the astrological new year in the feminine sign of Taurus. And you can see it out here at 14 degrees Taurus, the sun and the moon conjunct. As the Divine Feminine's new moon, I like to think that this new moon kind of sets the tone for the new year that the Divine Feminine is about to have, and what it is she's being called to look at, and how it is she's being called to light work this year. There's some interesting energies about this new moon, which I'll get into, and I want to go ahead and encourage you, if you have not already, to watch my general Taurus new moon video where I go into the general energies, because those general energies will be going on throughout the year. But there's definitely some things that are very specific to divine feminines as they watch the process their divine masculines are going through this year that they'll probably want to keep in mind as they move forward. So the first thing that I want to say that I noticed with this new moon is the proximity of Juno to the North Node. Juno being the divine feminine's symbol. If you know the mythology of Juno and Jupiter, they would have represented almost a twin flame couple. You know, for a long time, Jupiter was the chaser, and Juno said, "No, not interested. You've got a reputation. I don't think I want to get caught up in all of that." Eventually, she relented. They got married. They lived in bliss under the sea for 300 years. They went back to Mount Olympus, and mayhem kind of broke loose. Jupiter's reputation, he continued to fulfill it, I'll say. And in response to that, instead of leaving the marriage, instead of retaliating, Juno's choice was to stay committed in the partnership, but to actually ascend toward making Mount Olympus a better place. She became a patroness of the arts, and a revered goddess among the goddesses, as people sought her for her help and her aid. So, when I look at Juno in someone's chart, twin flame stuff aside, what Juno really represents is partnership. She represents the kind of partnership that you can commit to, warts and all. She represents the kind of partnership you can follow through on no matter what comes. And that's not always necessarily the person or the kind of person you're attracted to. That's Venus. Venus represents what you're attracted to, but Juno represents what you can actually settle down with and commit to. So when I see the divine feminine symbol Juno here sitting so close to the North Node, there are a couple things that really stand out to me. Number one, there's a wide orb here. So, take this with a fistful of salt. But when I see them both sitting in Cancer in this way, there's a general pull. That's what the North Node represents, that pull of the direction we're meant to be going in. There's this general pull toward partnership, and in particular, toward the divine feminine this year. For divine feminines who have found themselves in separation of whatever sort from their divine masculine, I almost want to say that there is a cosmic reason for this at this time. There's this way in which your energy, your light is actually not settled in with him, but available for all to be able to benefit from as you become the light to the Mount Olympus that you're sitting in, the world that you're a part of, in your community, your neighborhood, your networks, your place of work, etc., your family. There's this way that you're untethering your untetheredness from your divine masculine leaves your light available um, as a light worker and as someone of service to the collective, especially in such a feminine sign like Cancer. There's this way in which the divine feminine's energy is now freed up for her to take all of that unconditional love, all of that capacity and strength that she has cultivated over the last several years with her divine masculine, and now turn that outward for the world to be able to benefit from. So that's a very interesting thing. Now, what you choose to do with that, that's up to you, but that energy of everyone in the world, this north node being sucked toward her energy, that's a big deal. That's significant. And I almost want to say that the separation, as I said, the separation is almost happening for you and for the world, less so happening to you if you find yourself in separation at this time. Especially because in a few weeks here, we're going to see the North Node conjunct Juno, and they are going to be sitting together in the sign of Cancer. So if you're curious where that happens in your chart, where you're being called toward that service, where you're being called to be that light, what house that is, just let me know. I'd be happy to do a reading for you. And we can talk through that and the way the rest of these configurations play out in your chart. The link to my email will be below, but you can also just shoot me a note at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. Now, that energy is all 60 degrees away here from this energy here in Taurus. So that's a sextile. And a sextile lets me know that that energy is available to you if that's the way you want to work it. Sextiles connote benefit when work is put in, when effort is provided. But if no effort is provided, there is no benefit reaped. So know that if this is how you want to use that energy, you can, but it is going to take a little bit of rolling up the sleeves and putting your paddle in the ocean for you to get there. Now, the next thing that's really interesting about this new moon is that we've got Taurus, Uranus and Taurus here. Now, this is Uranus's mainstay in Taurus, making this the first new moon in Taurus as Uranus hits this sign, this very feminine sign. Now, Taurus is all about cultivating abundance, continuity, that which sustains life, specifically in the material world: food, shelter, nurturing, sustenance, comfort for the physical body. This is all Taurus's domain, including financial abundance and money that's required in order to sustain life. With Uranus here in Taurus, there is a call for the divine feminine to step into transformation as it pertains to these areas of life, for her to start to call forward and chart the course, not just for her divine masculine, but for everyone, in a new way as it pertains to the way we do physical resources on planet Earth, the way she takes care of her body and the body of those she loves, the way she keeps her house, the house and the place she lives in. You may be feeling called to move. If you've not done it yet, I implore you to go ahead and accept the divine invitation. Because as you'll see, when we get to these energies here in Capricorn, divine intervention is coming if you have not accepted a divine invitation. But also transformation as it pertains to the way she handles her money, the way that she handles food, You maybe have been called to switch up your diet or to plant a garden or to get involved with food programming in your local neighborhood or at a global scale. If all or any of this is being presented to you, it's in part because this is the way that you're being called toward greater service at this time for the world. Now, the way you can chart and navigate this in a super balanced way is to pay attention to this energy in Aries. And again, you're going to want to know where this is playing out in your chart, because this is the anchor point for the way this Taurian energy will play out over the next 14 years with Uranus and Taurus and this new moon in Taurus, really setting the tone for the way this Taurian energy is going to move forward. This energy here in Aries, the beginning, the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of the renewal, the cardinal sign of initiation, and the first one. This energy is all about focusing on yourself, putting on your own oxygen mask first. We've got Chiron here, the wounded healer, really forcing us to pay attention to places where we've got wounded ambition, wounded dreams that we now are being called upon to rectify in the world. We've got Vesta, who protects the holy hearth fire. Vesta is all about that which we consider holy, that which we would give up life for or offer our life to in service of. We've got Venus. Venus being the attraction point in a chart, also about love and money, beauty. Venus really being in conjunction with Vesta, being about, again, focusing on yourself. What do you need to grow? How does self-love look to you? We've got Discord, Eris here. She's all about taking that stand for yourself. She doesn't always do it eloquently or elegantly, but when the time has come, she puts her foot down. And then we've got Mercury here, the mind and communication, leading the pack of all this energy here in Aries. With Mercury and Chiron sandwiching all this energy, this is about, for you, divine feminines, understanding the truth of what you need to heal, knowing where you have allowed yourself to be caught between a rock and a hard place and not always made the decisions that have served you in the past, and being able to speak to that honestly with love, but openly as well, and saying, you know what, we're just not doing that anymore. We're going to do something different, because what that cost my body can't be a price I pay ever again. So knowing that that's all going on here, squaring this energy out here in Capricorn, because this is a square, they're 90 degrees apart. These are cardinal signs of change, initiation, and transformation, but specifically initiation and beginnings. Capricorn being about legacy, the South Node here touching Saturn and Pluto, there's this energy going on of understanding what the truth is at this time in a way we've never fully understood it before, and really taming ourselves so that we can step into this service and into being the light as divine feminine energies. Now, where this is happening in your chart, you're going to have noticed, and this will have been going on for some time now, depending upon the house where Capricorn falls in your chart, you will have noticed that there's already been some level of the cosmic rug getting pulled out from underneath you, or the wool being taken off from your eyes. There's a truth, an undeniable truth, that you know to be true as it pertains to things that involve Capricorn: work, legacy, money, traditions, and Cancer, having also to do with families. There's this way, because now we've got this retrograde energy here in Capricorn that's calling all of these energies toward their more spiritual manifestations. We've got Pholus retrograde, sacrifice. We've got South Node retrograde, past life and past in this life karma. We've got Saturn retrograde, that's integrity. and time. We've got Pluto retrograde, that's investments, sex, death, and taxes. And we've got Chiron retrograde, the divine intercessor. When I see the divine intercessor retrograde in particular, this is really about recognizing the God within you, the ways in which God has placed his spark within you. The universe has placed divinity within you so that you can start to become your own God in this world. This is almost God saying to you, yeah, I see you suffering. What are you going to do about it? Because I have imbued you with my power so that you can make change. With this new moon and Uranus here trining this energy, and Capricorn trines being harmonious, easy flows, the opportunity and the capacity to make the changes is already in your hands. It's just about charting the course, putting that oar in the water, and doing the work to paddle forward. Now, as it pertains to your divine masculine at this time, and again, I really encourage you to watch the Taurus new moon video more in depth, because the general one, because I go in depth a little bit more about this energy here. Your divine masculine symbol has gone retrograde. That's Jupiter here, has gone retrograde between this new moon and the last full moon and the last new moon. That's Jupiter here, retrograde at 23 degrees Sagittarius. First of all, with Jupiter and Sagittarius, this is all about the truth, capital T, capital T. The truth, being something that's undeniable, can't be ignored anymore. And those higher ideals being something that must be fulfilled. With Jupiter going retrograde, there's a little bit of almost the visual that's coming to mind is like the wind blowing a candle out, and now the entire room is dark. Again, there's this energy of needing to find our own way, chart our own course. Because Jupiter really represents expansion, hope, optimism. And with Jupiter moving retrograde, it's about not having the light external to us. It's about looking at the light within and calling forward that God spark within us to become the divine manifestations of God and light that we've always been meant to be. Jupiter's retrograde here is forcing the divine masculine to take a look inside of himself and ask himself, what are you made of? What's the truth of who you are? And with this energy out here in Capricorn sitting so close to it, and Capricorn in particular being such a masculine sign, I've seen it in my readings, but I'm also noticing it about us in the world, especially post Jupiter's move through Scorpio last year. We had the Me Too movement and the exposure of inappropriate sexual conduct that men in power have used with women. Now there's this energy of, all right, what are you going to do about the mess you've made going on here? It's not funny, but there's just almost this cosmic comedy where now the universe exposed the mess, and now the universe is saying, clean it up. You got yourself into it, you can get yourself out of it. And there's also this light energy here when they tap into their divine feminine energy, showing them the truth of what it is that they need to do. So know that that's there, because with this Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde, and now the South Node having touched both of these, the truth is on the table, not just for you, but also for them. Or I should put that in reverse, not just for them, but now also for you. If there are things that they have not told you, expect that those things to be coming to light, especially now as we're 60 days exactly to the next solar eclipse. That solar eclipse being out here in Cancer. Solar eclipses bringing things to light, but not only bringing things to light, solar eclipses also bring and bestow gifts. So provided you're doing your work, Saturn restoring integrity to situations where wholeness has been lost, Pluto allowing transformation and death to occur where things have gone awry, or it's been clearly shown and demonstrated this is dead, now speaking the truth of that death, especially with Pluto being squared to Mercury. There's no denying that there is a death here that the truth needs to be spoken about. And then Chariclo and Jupiter retrograde, there's a bit of this kind of like, has God abandoned me? Like, has God forgotten about me? That's going on for the divine masculines. And I implore you, as a divine feminine, if you're watching some of this go on, or experiencing a sharp withdrawal or silence from your divine masculine, be patient, have some compassion. They're going through a very difficult time as it pertains to everything that they have worked towards, Capricorn, and now needing to recognize where some of it was built on shoddy ground. The foundation was wrong to begin with. And they're coming to some difficult truths about the fact that what they had can't be fixed and needs to be given up, placed on the altar for transformation, given over, and allowed to let die, so that new fertile ground can give birth to something new. Continue to work your light, divine feminine. If your divine masculine has backed away, my advice here is to not crowd him. Please, whatever you do, don't get in the trenches and do the work with him. That's one of the worst things you can do, because it just demonstrates a lack of trust in his capacity to have the ability to figure this out, number one. But also, because he's going through such difficulty with this Pluto square Mercury here and these cardinal masculine signs, he's also not going to speak the nicest to you. He's not going to have the kindest things to say at this time. And that won't be because he means to be rude. It will be because he's struggling and he is looking outside of himself until he recognizes that within, that's where the light is. The light went out in the room so that he could find the light within himself at this time. So stand back, give him some space to do his work. He doesn't mean to be rude or to push you away, or to speak harshly to you. If you are in the trenches with him at this time, it will only mean that from what I can see, both from my readings and from this chart, verbal harms will be done at this time, that will then add to the things that you need to heal from when you two come back together. So best to let them do their work. This configuration is going to be going on all year. The occasional, hey, thinking about you, just wanted to let you know I'm on your side and I'm here whenever you're ready. That kind of thing will go a long way at this point in time. But refusing to indulge or try to work or have deep conversations about why things between us aren't, quote, right, they're not going to be right, because he's not right at this time and he's not going to be right for some time. Give him this year to work through this stuff, and you'll start to see him come through it. Meanwhile, just keep working your light. The other thing that I love out here in the sign of partnership and Libra, we've got this configuration all year of Pallas Athena sitting here at that midpoint. We've got Make Make and Haumea, Hawaiian creation goddess, and we've got a Hawaiian shaman energy out here. These two in particular, Haumea and Make Make, really speak to this divine transformation energy in the sign of partnership. And in particular with Pallas Athena here, we've got that partnership taking on a warrior-like energy, which is another reason why I'm kind of like, maybe just stand back. Try not to force the partnership or force things within the partnership. More allow them to unfold as the divine masculine energy is going through great transformation at this time. And then in the sign of the twins, we've got Mars here at 22 degrees And I really love seeing that because that just lets me know that the twin connection has been catalyzing for both twins. It's created a lot of motivation, a lot of ambition, a lot of drive toward the twin partnership. Even if it doesn't look like that, it is really stirring the pot, so to speak, and forcing each, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, into their roles as light workers, by first, for the divine masculine, kind of cleaning up some karma from the past. And divine feminines, you may notice this too. You've got some karmic cleanup to do in the area of your chart that Capricorn rules, but also looking toward that partnership in the future. That's that North Node with Juno sitting here. So know that this is kind of the energy governing the year. And that if you are putting your own oxygen mask on first, paying attention to this Aries energy where you need to heal, what you need in order to love yourself and to find your own spiritual journey sacred, and where you need to stand up for yourself, even if it's not quite eloquent or elegant, but where you need to speak the truth to power. That's what's being called for at this time. So, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you would like to do a reading with me, you can find me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com. That's KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. I'd be happy to look at your chart or the chart of you and your twin, or the chart of the day the two of you met. That's the chart that I use to track where you both are in your union at this time. Because if you two have met, you have entered the union lifetime, is what I call it. And the opportunity for the two of you to transmute and come toward one another and do the work together in this lifetime, even if that work is apart, but still within each other's cognizance. Then there's a real beauty there, not just for the two of you, but for the world. Thank you again for watching, and I appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes.